Welcome to the Tell Us Ellis podcast.
Hey, everybody, recording this on a Saturday morning. Welcome to everybody. We're supposed to get some snow today out here. I don't know. It flurried a little bit this morning. We'll see what happens, but hopefully if you're traveling, you travel safely. It's a big holiday weekend, of course, and want to make sure you get to your destination. So, today, I want to focus on one of WWE's big events, Survivor Series War Games. That will take place tonight from San Diego. And not many matches on the card because the two War Games matches will take up quite a bit of time, but I want to go over all of the events and matches and talk about it a little bit. But first, we'll get into some news and notes. So sit back and enjoy, and let's get into it. Okay, I want to start with some news and notes just from around wrestling, and hopefully you find these interesting. I do when I read the dirt sheets and I find out what's going on outside the ring. The first is an interesting situation. Ric Flair had made some comments about Hulk Hogan, Terry Bollea, who passed away earlier this year, and made some comments related to Hulk's use of prescription medication, and did that lead to his death in some way? And I'm paraphrasing that, and I want to make sure that I'm not misquoting. So I want to read directly from the social media of Ric Flair, something that he said to kind of convey what he was meaning and what he said about Hulk Hogan. He said, quote, "There seems to be some controversy over my remarks that street drugs killed Hulk Hogan. I was only repeating what I know to be a fact through family members. After 11 back surgeries, hip replacements, knee replacements, shoulder replacement, and 2 neck surgeries, I am sure the pain was unbearable. A doctor, as I know, can only prescribe so much pain medication under medical guidelines. I've been told that they did everything they could to help him, not to hurt him, to help him get through the night and the pain. Eventually that catches up with you, as we know, with everybody. He was my friend, a man I respected, and I'm only reporting what I've been told. Nothing more, nothing less. This was not an attempt to demean Hulk Hogan or his legacy. I've always referred to him as being one of the 2 biggest stars in the industry, himself and Steve Austin. I apologize if people misunderstood my statement. Hulkamania forever." So I think what Ric Flair was trying to do is say, hey, what I was saying was true, but I didn't mean to say it in a demeaning way. So hopefully that clears up some of his comments. Either way, the amount of pain that a wrestler's body goes through in some of these events is unbelievable. When you think about Hulk Hogan performing all those years, what that must have done to his body, you can understand why pain was probably a big part of his everyday life, and just a sad, sad situation for anybody. Hulk Hogan, of course, iconic wrestler. He is who I grew up on, and so very meaningful to me in the business. I want to move on now to an event that's coming up this weekend, or I should say next weekend, next Friday. Ring of Honor has a big event. Final Battle is the name of it. Ring of Honor Final Battle. It is on the Honor Club streaming service that you can purchase to watch all of Ring of Honor's events. Was a wrestler who was supposed to be a big part of this. He was supposed to be in the main event against Bandito for the Ring of Honor World title. Roosh is injured again. Unfortunately, Roosh has had a lot of injuries, as has Bandito over the years. So the main event between Bandito and Roosh at Final Battle has been called off. And instead, there is going to be a new Final Battle main event that will take place between, of course, the current champion Bandito, and also will feature Sammy Guevara, Commander, Hechicero, Blake Christian, and the Beast Mortos. Interesting, Blake Christian seems to be getting a nice push within Ring of Honor, along with the others. Sammy Guevara, interesting. He was such a big part of me watching Ring of Honor when watching AEW when I first started watching it. And then he's kind of got pushed down to Ring of Honor and not really sure what's going on there. Maybe he wants to perform there. Would love to see Guevara get the title, but also would love to see him back in AEW on a more full-time basis. Moving on in news, Thunder Rosa, who's under contract with AEW, announced her separation from husband Brian Cervantes. She relayed the news on social media, mentioning that they decided to go their separate ways after 14 years together. Thunder Rosa noted that her decision was taken in a friendly and respectful manner. She said, "After 14 years together, Brian Cervantes and I have decided to go our separate ways. in a friendly and respectful manner. Relationships sometimes change shape, but the care and respect remains. So prayers go out to Thunder Rosa and Brian Cervantes that they can part ways in a very meaningful way that allows them to continue their relationship. And it seems like that's where they're headed. So that's good. I want to announce an official signing by AEW, former WWE star Kaden Carter, who is now going by the name of Lacey Lane, and made her debut in Ring of Honor back in September. She challenged Mina Shirakawa for the interim Ring of Honor women's television title back then. She also faced off against Mercedes Moné on a Title Tuesday special back in October. She answered Mercedes Moné's challenge, lost that as well. But while Lane was unsuccessful in both of those bouts, I think AEW saw enough in her to decide to sign her. And Fightful Select is actually reporting that Lacey Lane has been signed by the company and was signed after her match with Mercedes Moné. So congratulations to Lacey Lane. Turning now to the Andrade situation. Boy, this is interesting. When I first started watching, I guess it was NXT, Andrade El Idolo was a big part of NXT. He eventually left NXT, went to AEW, where I followed him. He had some feuds and had some successes in the ring, but never really got over as much as I think AEW hoped he would. So he ended up going back to WWE, and one of the main reasons for that is his relationship with Charlotte Flair. They were married. However, going back to WWE didn't work for Andrade as much as he had hoped it would, and that includes his relationship with Charlotte Flair, where they announced a separation and divorce. Andrade said, I returned a year and a half ago to WWE. I assume he means I returned a year and a half ago, almost 2 years. I was in a company called AEW, and at that time I was already somewhat happy, but I was married. My wife's name is Charlotte Flair, and she works in WWE, so the idea was to return to WWE to be with her, and many things happened. Then we weren't really comfortable. We got divorced, but in the end, I wasn't really comfortable with several things. He spoke openly about a wellness situation he had with and a potential violation of the wellness program within WWE. He said, quote, I had a warning call which went online. I had a warning call because there are many medicines or supplements that can be consumed in Mexico, which can't be consumed here. And we have certain restrictions that require a prescription, supplements that have something that we cannot consume as athletes because of doping and things like that. I had a warning and I was a bit annoyed. So some controversy there, maybe related to his release from WWE and maybe it having something to do with this warning that he had. He also said, I spoke with WWE. We reached an agreement to leave WWE. We ended in the best way possible at that time. Then I returned to AEW, the other company. I imagine they didn't like it. I think he means WWE didn't like it. I don't know. He says, I'm very grateful to WWE. Sounds like from what I've read that Andrade explained that he had a year-long non-compete with WWE, which seems out of character for WWE. Usually their non-competes run 30, 60, or 90 days, I believe. Andrade did confirm that his current deal restricts him from competing anywhere for 1 year and that he has new lawyers that are working on this situation and hopefully will resolve it soon. So just one more thing, Trick Williams, who is in NXT, and Lash Legend, who was in NXT but has been seemingly called up to the main card. She's in the War Games match today, and it has been all over social media that the two of them are engaged. There was even the engagement announcement, video of it that was on social media. So congratulations to Trick Williams and Lash Legend. And maybe soon, maybe both of them will be in WWE, as I think Trick Williams, he has got to be appearing soon, I would think, in the number one brand, the main brand, WWE. One last thing I did want to mention, Fightful Select has also learned of a number of deals in TNA that are expiring at the end of the year. Over the past couple of months, they've talked about Zachary Wentz, AJ Francis, Steve Macklin, all retiring at the end of the year. And the latest that they reported on was that Jake Something's deal with TNA is also set to expire at the end of the year. So again, a lot of free agency happening at the end of the year. It'll be interesting to see where some of these folks end up. Will they return to TNA? Will they sign with NXT? Will they sign with AEW or another brand out there? So time will tell. So that is an update on some of the news and notes around the wrestling world. Okay, let's turn now to the Survivor Series and preview the War Games full card. Survivor Series, the card, and also the War Games matches for Survivor Series. So the WWE War Games works very similarly to how the Blood and Guts match worked within AEW a couple of weeks ago. You have teams of 5. In this case, one person will start from one team, another person will start from the other team. They will wrestle in the ring, and it's 2 rings together in a steel cage. They will wrestle for several minutes. I think it might be 5 minutes before the next individual comes in for one of the teams. And then they have a 2-on-1 advantage for a couple of minutes until a member from the other team comes in. And then it's 2-on-2. And it goes back and forth until all 10 competitors are in the ring at once. Then the bell is rung, and then it's the first person to get, or the first team to get a pinfall or a submission. So there is a men's War Games match and a women's War Games match. The men's War Game match is CM Punk, Cody Rhodes, Roman Reigns, and the Usos, Jay and Jimmy Uso, against the team of Brock Lesnar, Drew McIntyre, The Vision, which is Braun Breaker, and Bronson Reed, and then Logan Paul. I don't know if Logan Paul is really part of the Vision or not yet. He seems to be thrown in here. By the way, he will do I have no doubt he will do a fantastic job in this War Games match. He is going to be phenomenal. I expect him to climb up the side of the cage and do crazy things. This is just who Logan Paul is. You can say what you want about him. He is an unbelievable competitor in WWE. So what do I think about the match overall? I think what this match is doing is looking forward a little bit to 2026 and some of the matches that might start taking shape as we head into 2026, as we head into the Royal Rumble, as we head into Elimination Chamber, and then as we head towards WrestleMania. So with that being said, are we setting up a Brock Lesnar, Cody Rhodes WrestleMania? Are we setting up a Brock Lesnar, Roman Reigns match coming up? I don't know. I'm not sure what we're doing with the Usos here either. Are they going to be fighting Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed in the near future? Where does Logan Paul go? Does Logan Paul start doing something with CM Punk here for a little bit? Again, I think the match will be really good. I actually think the women's match will be better than the men's match. Just the size of some of the guys in the men's match. When you think about Bronson Reed, when you think about Braun Breaker, Roman Reigns, and of course, Brock Lesnar, I mean, these are big guys. And I just think when you have a match in a cage like this where you can do some creative things, I don't know how creative they'll get. So I'm actually looking forward to this one more towards what it sets up for 2026 than the actual results of this match. That said, we'll say that I'm gonna call out the team of Lesnar, Drew McIntyre, The Vision, and Logan Paul, and I will say that they will win. I think Brock Lesnar may get the pinfall. I think he's going to get it either over Cody Rhodes or over Roman Reigns. And again, I think that sets up 2026. If you look at the women's War Games match, you have AJ Lee, Alexa Bliss, Charlotte Flair. You also have Io Sky and Rhea Ripley. That's an awesome team, by the way. I mean, Io Sky is maybe the best women's wrestler in all of the world. Rhea Ripley is a fan favorite, a tremendous wrestler. I don't mean to shortchange her when I give Io Sky all the love and attention. Then you have Alexa Bliss and Charlotte Flair. They've just been so much fun together. And of course, AJ Lee returning as somebody who kind of helped propel the women's division many years ago. So really good team. They are fighting the team of Becky Lynch, Lash Legend, who I mentioned earlier in the broadcast, Nia Jax, and the Kabuki Warriors, who are Ahsoka and Kairi Sane. I absolutely think the face team wins here. AJ Lee, Alexa Bliss, Charlotte Flair, Io Sky, Rhea Ripley. I see no way that the heels win this one. To me, is all about the face team winning and going over very well. Again, not sure what this sets up for the future. Does something happen with the faces where, does a Rhea Ripley get into it with a Charlotte Flair? What about AJ Lee? Does she get into it with somebody? I don't know. There's a lot that can be set up here. You think about AJ Lee and maybe a Becky Lynch in the future one-on-one. Does this propel Lash Legend into something? This could be, I would love to see Lash Legend against Charlotte Flair, Lash Legend against Rhea Ripley. I mean, my goodness, this could set up so many great future matches. Again, I feel strongly that the faces win this one, and not sure if this will be the first match on the card or the last match on the card. I'm thinking the men will be the last match on the card because it is the biggest names in the WWE. Not that the women don't deserve it. I would put the women on last, personally. 2 other matches. One is John Cena fighting against Dominic Mysterio. John Cena is the current Intercontinental Champion. This will be his next to last match, I believe. His last match coming up on Saturday night's main event in a few weeks, 2 weeks. I think John Cena drops the title to Dominic Mysterio here. I think it was nice to give Cena the Intercontinental title, but he should not go into his final match as the Intercontinental Champion. He should lose it back to Dominic Mysterio. I don't know how Dominic wins. I'm sure it'll be cheating somehow. Maybe he gets help. I don't know. But I definitely see Dominic Mysterio winning this one. John Cena will get a huge pop, no doubt. But so will Dominic Mysterio. I mean, this is in San Diego. This is Dominic's hometown. So there's gonna be a lot of love there. It'll be interesting to see if Rey Mysterio makes an appearance here and in some way intervenes on John Cena's behalf. Or would it be interesting if Rey Mysterio turned and maybe cost John Cena the match? I don't know. We will see. And that leads us to the final match on the card, which is the Women's World Championship. Stephanie Vaquer, the current champion, against Nikki Bella. Nikki, of course, flipped on Stephanie Vaquer a couple weeks ago. It was a surprise. I was really taken off guard by it. I like it. I like the flip. I like turning Nikki heel right now and challenging Stephanie. I don't think Stephanie needs the title right now, but she is a quick and huge fan favorite. I don't see putting the women's title, the Women's World Championship, on Nikki Bella at this stage in her career. Possibly could happen, but I can't see it happening. I think Stephanie Vaquer retains. And if anything, maybe there is some setup for a future match, either for Nikki Bella or for Stephanie Vaquer. Maybe we see AJ Lee against Nikki Bella. That would be a good one, a match from the past. So the card itself, again, I don't love the card. The War Games matches are good. They take up a lot of time, though. I like at least 6 matches on a card. This being only 4 feels a little bit disappointing, but it's War Games, Survivor Series. This is what they have to do. So hopefully you get a chance to watch. This will be on ESPN Unlimited. You can watch this at no additional charge, and we'll see you soon. So that's it for the show. Just giving you kind of my upcoming programming. My next broadcast probably will be on Tuesday. I think that's when Kevin Murphy and I will go over the week in football and do our $10,000 Tellus Ellis picks for the week. And then beyond that, I am going to AEW Dynamite on Wednesday. It is here in Fishers, Indiana. My wife and I are celebrating my birthday in style at AEW Dynamite on Wednesday, so I probably won't get a video off then. But definitely Tuesday, maybe Thursday. I want to get into entertainment, a little bit of pop culture. I have a special guest in the works for some of the pop culture stuff. And then I have an idea on some entertainment. Just watched a short series and may want to go over it with everybody. So stay tuned, but look forward to future broadcasts, and I appreciate it. Please continue to follow me on all of my social media channels, which are above me over here, and make sure you go to YouTube and check it out. I appreciate it. Everybody have a good Thanksgiving weekend. Finish strong.